Hey everyone. Quite honestly, I've never been so close to giving up on my music career than I am today. Never have I ever thought about that, ever. First of all, let's cover a couple things before I get into this conversation. Heater is on, you're gonna hear a little bit of blowing. It's cold today. It's been beautiful weather the last few days, or the last week. And now it's cold and rainy, and my feet are kind of wet from walking around in shoes with no socks. And of course, as per usual, my extremely messy Poshmark closet is behind me, and I want to go ahead and apologize to people who have bought from Poshmark for me the last week. I haven't been focusing on my shop. I should have cut it off, but I was just saying, if somebody wants to buy something, they can buy something, but I've really screwed up on a couple orders, and I'm working to resolve that right now. Anyway, my mental health had just taken a turn for the better. Really rough time leading up into the surgery that I had at the end of February. Really rough time. And then once I healed and I was off the painkillers and I could go back to kind of being a little bit normal in life, and I got to go back to Nashville and the weather was warmer, I felt amazing last week. Absolutely amazing. But today would have to be a rainy day. It would have to be the day I went back to the doctor for the first time since my surgery, and it would have to be an extremely difficult day mentally. I'm embarrassed, angry, ashamed, wanting to both redeem myself and quit all at the same time. I don't know who's calling me, but they can leave a voicemail if they want, because I'm not in the mood to answer anything right now. If I cry, I'm sorry. I might not. I probably won't, but my hormones are kind of screwed up from the cyst I have on my ovary, and so I might tear up, become a little bit more emotional than I normally would, but I don't know where to start, because should I start with the good news? So here's the topics I want to cover in this video. Let's get that. Let's make a little timeline here, because I tried to film all these videos separately, and I guess they should just all go together, because at this point, if I post them separately, then it's going to be in the past, and I really just kind of want to get this out here immediately today. So the topics I want to cover, not necessarily in this order, my reputation in the music industry here in the tri-state area of Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee, and what I've come to learn today, and how embarrassed I am, and how I'm debating with what I should even do, how I should even feel. B, how my surgery went, the story of my surgery, and the recovery process. And then C, the results, the treatment, and what the results were, and how we're gonna treat it from here on out. And I just literally repeated myself. Also want to talk about mental health and anxiety and depression, and the stigma behind it, and the stigma behind female issues that we all have. So I guess before I get into the depressing stuff, here's the good news, and I thank the Lord for this. My results came back. That obviously, well, not obviously, but thankfully, I'm so awkward. Bear in mind, I have social anxiety disorder. I have a really hard time sometimes forming sentences, especially when my anxiety is up and I'm going through a bad day like I am today. So bear that in mind. I'm gonna say things that are stupid and gonna have to retract them and restate them. Good news is that everything they took samples of from my uterus, one of my ovaries, and my bladder, everything's benign. No cancer, no precancer, nothing that's alarming or deadly. And another good thing is that I do not have endometriosis. Now, it is hard to diagnose. We did the most extreme way to diagnose it, which is having surgery. And we seriously thought it was endometriosis. But it turns out, and I was convinced, she was convinced, we were all convinced that this was endometriosis, but it's not. Although the pathology reports were confusing because the first one came back that I did have endometrial tissue growing outside of my uterus, but then the next one that they did came back that was false, and I didn't. So, fibroid cyst on my ovary, and maybe in my uterus. I'm not sure about the details, but I do have what we were talking about before, which I've mentioned on my Facebook, but I've tried to film videos, like I said, of this, and I was high on the painkillers the last video I filmed, and I just rambled on, and I'd rather just not post that video and just post one when I'm sober and talking professionally, if you want to call it that. Nothing I say is professional anymore. Everybody hates me. I need something to pick at. I'll pick at this. Fidget with it. I have interstitial cystitis, and apparently it's cysts on my bladder that inflame my blood vessels and make my bladder spasm, makes me have to pee more. It causes pain. I'm gonna try to be non-offensive in this video since I'm so offensive. Pain with things that I'm not allowed to talk about. Just pain. There's pain and a lot of peeing. A lot of urinating, peeing is offensive. It's too dirty. So I'm being sarcastic a little bit. I'm a little bit pissed, but I'm also understanding of things. So hear me out. I'm gonna be a lot of emotions right now. So she said that this is way better than having endometriosis. It should not cause problems with me having children one day when I'm ready. I'm not thinking about that right now. Don't get that in your heads. I know some of y'all already think I'm pregnant. She said the swelling in my stomach would go down within the next couple of months. That's been alarming to me because I go to wear some clothes now that I fit in before my surgery, and it's a little more swollen than it was before, and it's just alarming to me, and it freaked me out. But she said it would go down. I mean, obviously I have gained weight too, so my size has changed. I got a little tubby tub, but it's more swollen than it was before. But what we did to treat this, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain what we did to treat it. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and explain the treatment. I'm gonna get into the stuff later on that I'm upset about. The treatment was inserting a catheter and inserting medicine that numbs the bladder so that it will not spasm anymore. And then she said that should last 6 months, but it might not. It's trial and error. And that from here on out, I'm going to be taking 2 medications. One's for the pain and one's for the actual problem. And it's actually not a painkiller. I'm not sure what it is exactly. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research, but it's not like I'm going on codeine or morphine or something that's highly addictive. It's something meant specifically for this problem, which I'm happy about. And it's supposed to help you sleep. You're supposed to take it at night. So she told me I could stop taking my sleeping pills and I could start taking this instead. So I'm hoping that that'll work. The only thing that really caught me off guard was how expensive the medicine for my bladder cost. One of them was only like $10. Fine, whatever, that's okay. One of them was $90. It was for a 3-month supply, so technically $30 a month, but still, I have insurance. And insurance so far will not cover my birth control anymore. And I have to use a coupon, and it's not free anymore, even with the coupon. And 2, will not cover this medicine that I'm going to need to fix my bladder issues. Lovely. Just lovely. I mean, I'm sure it covers a lot of it, but it doesn't cover all of it, or most of it, and it's still expensive. So I'm paying for insurance just to be able to see my doctor to get these treatments and to have my surgery and everything, but then I can't. But then the medicine is expensive because it all adds up. I'm probably going to be spending like $100 a month on medications, and then I'm spending $100 a month for the insurance. So it's like, why do we even have health insurance? Thank you, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Thank you. You're so kind. And better that I had last year gave me most of my medications for really, really cheap. But they didn't cover my doctor. So win-win. And I'm using my surgeon from here on out because she knows what's wrong with me. And she's like the best around here. So there's no question in that. I'm not switching right now. At least until we figure out what's wrong with me. Like we get the problem going to be fixed, you know, like heading toward a solution. Anyway, now that I've told you about how we treated it, I do feel a little weird in my bladder after having that. It was, it only took it only took like a minute, I think. It didn't take long at all. And it really wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. They used a pediatric catheter. Sorry to the people this grosses out. And, I felt a little bit of pressure, a little bit of tingling, a little bit of burning, and then it was over really quickly. And you can't urinate. You can't go to the little girl's room, excuse me. You can't go to the little girl's room for 20 minutes. And then it's okay. Then you can. I haven't had to go though, because they extracted what was in my bladder before they put that in. Trying so hard to be less gross, but I've just always been gross. Honestly, like, I've just been really open about things, and it's getting me in trouble more and more nowadays, and I'm just to the point where we're gonna get to that, okay? Real quick though, I want to describe what happened during my surgery. I'm just going to do a brief overview instead of going into full detail like I did in the last video that I was going to post but decided not to post. So, surgery went a lot better than I thought, except for a couple things. So, I have to be very thankful to my boyfriend Travis for sticking by me through all of this and for being by my side as much as he could be considering COVID. He did not have to drive down from Cincinnati, but he did. He drove down and he went down to outside of Atlanta in Canton with Mom and I. And obviously Mom was my person that I was allowed to take in there with me and have her there at check-in, have her there at pre-op and post-op. but he stayed there. He stayed in the car, and he was there with me the whole day after and the whole night afterwards. And then I was okay enough for him to go on and do his shows and his work and everything. But I had never had an IV in my hand before. I've only ever had an IV in my arm. And honestly, the ones I've had in my arm, they weren't really that painful. I mean, if you moved around a lot, it would hurt, you know? And they were always like the metal, I think they were metal? Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to what was actually in my arm after it was in my arm. I guess they do use plastic ones now, right? I mean, they use a needle initially to make the hole, but then they have like a plastic thing. I don't know. Anyway, I got one in my left hand because my right hand's my dominant hand, and she was like, it's, you know, it's gonna be sore afterwards, so we'll leave you with your dominant hand. So I've heard that the IVs in your hand hurt. I didn't know that they would hurt after the fact. Like, I knew it would hurt going in, but I didn't know. I just flipped off the camera. I'm sorry. That was not intentional. I knew it would hurt going in, but I didn't think it would continue to hurt. So there was nothing wrong with it, though. I didn't have a bad reaction. I know my photographer's son had a really bad reaction when he was born, and they had to put an IV in his hand, and he had a really, really bad reaction, and it burnt his hand. I did not have a bad reaction when it came to, like, my skin. I don't think the nurse did the IV wrong, but it burned so bad. First of all, that hurt like hell because it's so close to your bones and your tendons, you know? Like, this is you're a little further away here, you got more fat here, and this is just like scraping your bone. It hurt really bad going in, but it continued to burn the whole time. Like, she's like, oh, the burning will go away after a few minutes. But no, it burned, and it got worse and worse. It just kept burning. It was just really annoying and painful. And I was like gripping onto the hospital bed and just like digging my nails into it. And I was like, I kept asking her, is this supposed to be hurting? Is this supposed to be hurting? So that was annoying. I don't think it was her fault. My body hates anything foreign, so it's probably just my body reacting to something, to the medicine or whatever. Who knows? It hurt for a long time afterward too. Like, and not only did it, this is not where it was, that's my cat that scratched me, but it was up here, but it hurt for like 2 weeks afterwards. I mean, it hurt going all the way down my vein, and it even hurt like around here, which is just weird. But nothing happened negatively. It's healed now, and I'm not having any problems. It's not really hurting anymore. But anyway, the second thing that annoyed me was that the last surgery I had, they were able to give me anxiety meds almost instantaneously. Like, they gave me the IV, they drew my blood, gave me the IV, and they were able to draw the blood through the IV. That's another thing. Okay, there's 3 things. They had to draw blood here and then put the IV here. When I had the last surgery, they were able to do the IV in the same place that they drew the blood, so there was only 1 needle prick instead of 2. The third thing is that I was not able to receive my anxiety meds until my surgeon arrived, and this is not her fault, it's just I didn't know that this was the case, but they weren't able to give me my anxiety meds until like literally right before they rolled me in there. And so this time I did remember it. I've never remembered being put to sleep. Like my last surgery, I didn't remember it at all. I didn't even remember going into the OR. But this time, I did remember just the last second, like, not even being put to sleep. I just remember laying there, and she goes, I'm gonna take your mask and I'm gonna hang it up here. And then that I blacked out. Didn't even remember being put to sleep. I never remember like counting backwards or anything. I don't know if I do or don't, or do I black out? Who knows? But I woke up, I felt great. You always feel great the first day. All the painkillers they put in you and all the fluids, and I felt great. felt amazing. I felt like I could do anything. I was watching TV. We were watching Name That Tune, and we were like yelling at the TV, and me and Travis and Mom, and we were having a good old time. And then, of course, the day after is like always the worst. Hold on. Sorry, someone just messaged me about the stuff I'm about to talk about. And I'm just, at this point, okay. So, where was I at? Oh yeah, the day after the surgery is always the worst. It was less feeling pain immediately in my stomach and more just feeling like I, had the flu or something, achy all over, withdrawing from whatever painkiller they gave me, and then trying to get used to the hydrocodone, this was Oxy, I think it was Oxy. And my body does have a slight reaction to Oxy or morphine or whatever, anything that's an opioid. My body does have a slight reaction to it where I get really itchy and stuff. I've never had like anaphylaxis or something though, to where I thought I was gonna die from it or I was having a really bad allergic reaction. I don't know if everybody has this reaction and it's supposed to help with like addiction or something, or if it's just certain people. But yeah, I was itchy, I was lethargic, I was fatigued, and within the next few days, I would say the 3 to 4 days after the surgery were the worst of it. And I mean, the second day, like after the surgery, like the third day, it was hard. Like if I wanted to sit, it hurt obviously, because they went into my abdomen. They went in below my belly button. And if I wanted to stand, then it hurt. And I would often think that I didn't need a painkiller and I wouldn't take it. But then I realized that that was what was making me not hurt, like I needed the painkiller. So I took them longer than I thought I would. But this was the most invasive surgery that I've had so far. So yeah, did that. And let me show you, actually, I'm a little swollen, I'm a little pudgy, I'm sorry. But here's you see this? It's not as graphic anymore. So I feel like I can show you, but before it was really graphic, and I had filmed that, and I was like, I can't show that on YouTube, especially since everybody's extremely grossed out and offended by everything nowadays. So I would rather not do that. Okay, hold on. Ooh, readjust the camera again. So, still gotta fix it. Dang it, I'm so unprofessional, I know I am. So, in about 5 days, I started feeling somewhat normal again. Obviously was starting to withdraw from the codeine because I'd been taking it for like 5 days, and I was slowly starting to wean off of it. And when I'm withdrawing from opioids, I get real sweaty and itchy and fever-like and just not great. You just feel a little dizzy, my eyes were blurry, my up-close vision, my nearsighted vision was really blurry. I was wearing my reading glasses that I only need when like my allergies are acting up and stuff, so yeah. And then I was feeling great by the weekend. I would say that the first show I did on Friday, I was having a hard time singing from my diaphragm. I was having to really keep my voice in my throat and not push really hard on my diaphragm. It just wouldn't let me. Because, if you've had singing lessons before, you learn how to sing from your diaphragm and stuff, but I was really having to use my head voice a lot because this was hurting to use. By Saturday, I was feeling a lot better and I could sing better, and then by Sunday, it was a lot better, like a lot better. And then I was able to go to Nashville last week. I had a great time. I was feeling great. I wanted to ride my bike, but then Mom reminded me, like, you probably shouldn't do that because you still got some muscles that are not healed completely there. So I didn't, unfortunately. I really wanted to because it was so pretty last week in Nashville. But anyway, that's the story of my surgery. I'm thankful that my mom and Travis were there for me for it. I'm glad that for the technology that we have, that they're able to do laparoscopy and just to make one little incision and go in through my belly button, and the scar continues to recede into my belly button so that it won't be noticeable. It'll just look like a little wrinkle around the belly button. I was really worried at first when I saw it because it was completely like folded out. This is graphic, and it had dried blood on it, so it was glued, and it just looked real freaky. And I was really afraid. It was kind of like when you hear people who have had plastic surgery before, and you hear that they freak out when they first see it because it's so swollen and all that stuff. So I was really freaked out. I was like, is my stomach gonna look cut up for the rest of my life? But no, it's definitely healing, and it's looking good. The glue's off of it. It's just looking like a scar now, and I think it'll soften up. She said, like I said before, the surgeon said that it would take 3 months for it to really start looking a little bit normal again. So looking forward to that. What else? Oh, I'm thankful for my surgeon, because she is absolutely a treat, and she is really great at her job, and she is very comforting with everything, and makes it not feel like I'm lesser than, because I've had doctors that talk down to you like you don't know what you're talking about. She talks to me like a human. We have conversations about what I've researched and what she's researched, and we come up with solutions for stuff. See, I'm already tearing up, but also there's something in my eye. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thankful for the people who helped me get through this situation, and I'm glad that everything's benign, and that we have a hopeful outlook that this is not going to be as bad as endometriosis. Sorry, there is something in my eye. And that one day I'll be able to have kids, and and one day maybe I won't have this problem as severe as it has been, and that the medication will help my pain, even though it costs a lot. Okay, we need to move on to the second part of this video. I'm going to cut this here and then restart another video, just in case something gets, like, I don't want this to get corrupted and I lose this whole half of the video. So, all right, we're back. Again, I can't do a lot of jump cuts and stuff like I used to because my computer is old. It's worn out. I've updated everything I possibly can on it, hard drive, RAM, all that, and it's ready to retire. But I'm waiting for the new MacBook. This is supposed to come out in the fall, I guess. Late summer, fall, something like that. That's got the AIR chip, I believe that's what it's called, and it's supposed to be better for video editing, but who knows? Everything's made so shitty. Sorry for my language. I was trying to be family friendly. Sorry for my language. You know what? No, not sorry for my language. I'm sorry if I offended you with it, but I say bad words when I'm trying to emphasize things, and it's real shitty how my iPhone freaking last year died a week after the warranty went out, and then I had to pay for the rest of it that I hadn't paid for yet, and then start paying for a new one. When I didn't even do anything to it. I kept it in a case. I kept the glass protector on it. Not a scratch, not a crack, but it quit working. It just wouldn't turn on anymore. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. This is a part that I really need to vent about. All that other stuff was an update for y'all, if you care. If you don't care, don't leave your shitty comments telling me that you don't give a shit. Just don't say anything. This is not for you. This is for the people who actually care and want to know. Because I've had tons of people message me and ask me how I am, and ask me if I need anything, and they want to know updates. And those people are the ones that part is for. This next part is mainly for myself, because I want to vent about it. I'm having a really hard day with my mental health today. Not only did I wake up nervous about this doctor's appointment, nervous that I could find out that something was mysteriously cancer that I didn't know about, which it wasn't, obviously. But, I guess I said that before. But I was worried about, was I going to have to get needle injections every 2 months? Was I going to need another surgery? What was I going to need done to me? So I was already nervous. And then it all started with an email from a venue that was saying that I made some people in the audience uncomfortable by talking about my surgery before I had it. And I did overdo it that night. I knew it when I left. I got the vibe. I always get a vibe. And I was like, I overdid it. I overdid it. And there were some people that wanted to talk to me about it, and they wanted to know more, and they were being genuinely concerned and nice about it. And then there were some people, I guess, that privately tell the owners that I made them uncomfortable. Now, a couple things. I've had this happen before. Let's see, where did it happen before? I believe it was at Yona Mountain Vineyards. I had a particular person tell on me because I made a joke about this guy that I had liked. I never ended up dating him or anything, but I liked this guy back in like 2019, and I'd written a song about how much of a douche he was about leading me on and then completely embarrassing the shit out of me one night when he got me in front of all of these guys that he's friends with and just wouldn't shut up about his STDs. Sorry. Do we call them STIs now? I guess STIs. STDs? STIs? I don't know what the proper term is anymore. Everything's changed recently. But I made a joke about that, and I actually said STD, which I shouldn't have said. Usually I just say diseases, and I try to play dumb, with them, like, oh, it's diseases. But I actually said it that day like an idiot, and but the owner just came up to me and said someone complained, and I said, yeah, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson on that one. I don't say that anymore. I just I try to walk around the story if I tell it, but mostly I just don't play that song anymore. It caused a big uproar too, the fact that I just even wrote the song in the first place. And the song doesn't say like, oh, he's talking about his STDs. It says, don't talk about your escapades or whatever. You brag about your escapades, but just don't do it to my face. I'm warning you. That's what it said. That's what it says. That's how it described it. And I don't tell the story anymore. I don't even really play the song anymore. It does have a cuss word in it, but I bleeped it for that show. I've bleeped it for most shows unless I know that the place doesn't care if I cuss. So that song caused a lot of drama. It caused a lot of drama. And I had to block a lot of people because of it. I had this guy get on his friend's account and start messaging me like he was my friend, like he was that friend, that other guy. I just ended up blocking a whole bunch of people after that because I was like, no. I literally, the song is called Cup of Joe. The guy's name was Joe, but Joe's a very common name, and I never mentioned the last name, ever. So, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore because I don't want to start that drama up again because it's absolutely pointless. Anyway. I overdid it that night, I agree. And I've had venues dump me before because of this, but they would not tell me. I've had places that just don't book me anymore and they won't tell me which always hurts my feelings. I mean, it hurts my feelings either way, but it just, like, they won't tell me what it was, and they lie, and I guess they're trying to not hurt my feelings. But at the same time, I've had ones that have gone on to make fun of me later to people I know, and then it gets around to me that they were complaining or making fun of me later on. And then I had to be stupid and post a post on Facebook about it. And everybody was pretty positive, except I did get a comment saying that this person knows a couple places that won't book me anymore because of me talking about my privates. Which, I think anything that I've implied before was implied. And I don't think that I've ever just been like, my vagina. But let's be honest. I have been too open before. I have. But it just really depends on the audience. It depends on who's there. I usually don't do that stuff if there's kids around. I don't cuss if there's kids around. I might say hell or damn, but I usually just try to keep it family friendly if there's kids around. Sometimes I have a day where I'm having a bad day with my mental health and I want to vent to somebody. I don't have a good therapist anymore. I don't know. So I don't even know what to say next. First of all, the girl who said this, I'm mad at her. I wish she wouldn't have told me. But I realized she was doing it, so I know. But she's from a town, which I'm not going to say the name of the town. She's from a town that I have really bad memories connected to that town and to that whole area. There's about 3 cities that all touch each other. One's in North Carolina, 2 are in Georgia, and they all touch each other. Like they're on the line of the states, and it's like their little tri-state area. And so does my hometown, Blue Ridge. It is connected to these cities, towns. They're not really cities, they're small towns. And I just have really bad connections and memories with these places. With 2 different people that I have dated. Oh God, here she goes again talking about people that she dated. But it's the truth. Really bad memories. Really bad connections. Stuff that just haunted me for years. And I was so embarrassed by all of it that I would talk about it because I was embarrassed, and I just felt like I was trying to own up to something, prove my innocence, prove my rightness, my righteousness. Prove that I wasn't the wrong one in the situation, for fear that these people were talking about me. But then in turn I was talking about them because I thought they were talking about me. But I know obviously that there's this one particular guy up there that, man, not someone, this is older man, that really gets on to me about talking about anything. So the last time I played somewhere and he was there, I just didn't say anything, and then he praised at how wonderful it was that I didn't say anything. And he wouldn't shut up about it. He kept on and on and on and on and on about it, and I was just fuming. I was sitting there, just the blood was boiling in my brain, and I was like, okay, you said what you needed to say, please just be quiet, please just be quiet, please. And then he was telling me that I need to get over myself and be able to hang out with my ex because it shouldn't matter. I should be able to hang out with him, or I'm not over it. That really made my blood boil. Because listen here, he traumatized me with the things he said. Absolutely destroyed my self-esteem. Broke my heart. I cannot stand to see him. Which is going to play into what I'm about to say about possibly moving on from this area and all this stuff. We'll get there. Although feelings subside and you eventually get to that point where you don't have feelings for the person. You don't want them back. You don't want anything to do with them anymore. You don't think about them romantically. You don't want to see them or talk to them. If you do run into them, which is a small town, if you do run into them, or if you see somebody share something of theirs online, it makes your blood boil. It makes you angry. People saying, oh, he's so wonderful, he's so wonderful, he's so wonderful. And you're like, yeah, you think. But I had a bad problem with two guys that ended up actually becoming friends eventually, which irked me a little bit, but at the same time it's like I became friends with my ex's friends or ex-girlfriends before, so we tend to do that because we want to have somebody to talk to about it and relate to about it. But at this point, I'm embarrassed and ashamed, and I have been toning it down. I have been toning it down the last few months or so. I just happened to have a moment there where it was close to Valentine's Day. I've had really bad situations. One time I almost got sexually assaulted. It was really close. It was one of those moments where I was in college, and the guy, I slapped him in the face and told him I didn't want him to put his hand where he put his hand, and he continued to try to. But eventually he did stop after I said no several times. So that was a bad experience. That was my first Valentine's Day date ever. And then I had one where I couldn't, what can I say? What am I allowed to say? I couldn't make love. I wasn't ready to either, but I couldn't because of my problem that we're treating still. And he dumped me a few days later because of that. Even though he said he was in love with me and I was the one and all that stuff. So I've had really bad situations around Valentine's Day. And it stressed me out. It even stressed me out so much that I had way too high of expectations for this Valentine's Day. And I got angry at Travis. Way too angry. I mean, we did have a little bit of a spat that morning, but we were both really tired and didn't sleep that well, so I get it. But I went full on like dramatic about it because I was so afraid that it was gonna be another crappy Valentine's Day, and it was kind of just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I fulfilled it, that I was aggravated the whole day. But this was the day before Valentine's Day that this venue is mad at me now. Well, they were nice about how they said it, but basically I was going through it. I was really, really not feeling good that day, and I vented. And I apologize to those that I offended. I'm sorry that I made you uncomfortable. I've done this before. I'll do it again. Try not to, but there's been times when I've not talked about myself and I've offended people. Like, another instance is that I played at this one place and I played my original song that was the single at the time, which, you know, what do you want to call a single? I'm not on a label or anything, but, you know, it was like what I had released recently and was the main song for my album that I was promoting at the time. And is called Washing the Blood, and if you haven't heard it before, it is a song that has a little backstory about a father being abusive to the mother and the child grows up to eventually kill his father. And this was something that actually happened in my hometown, and someone that I knew in high school did this, and I wanted to tell the story because I thought it was really, really interesting. So I told it through song, and she said that someone complained that they didn't want to hear anything about abuse, that I needed to refrain from that. And it's not even graphic, the song's not even graphic about it, so I was like, well shoot, like, there's a lot of songs that could be considered about abuse, like freaking Goodbye Earl. One of the most epic songs. Don't even start about the chicks. I'm gonna say that just because I don't want to offend anybody, but I know them as the chicks, you know, the word I can't say anymore. But no matter what you think about their political opinions and stuff, because I have different political opinions a lot of times than they do, but that is like a great song. They didn't write it, by the way. Greg Crow up in Nashville told me who wrote that song. He's a writer up in Nashville too, that's written for like Montgomery Gentry and stuff. He told me who wrote that song the other day. Dennis Lindsay? I think Dennis Lindsay, something like that. One of the greatest, most entertaining songs in country music history, and it is about abuse. And I used to sing that when I was 6 years old at functions, and never, ever, ever got told that it was inappropriate. But now I sing a song that I wrote that doesn't even say abuse in it, and I got told on, and I quit playing there because I just didn't think it was, I just wasn't comfortable with it. I wasn't comfortable with going back. I didn't enjoy myself there anyway. So I just said, you know, cut my losses, move on. I wasn't mean about it. I just kind of told her I didn't have any more free time to play there anymore. So I guess the debate that I'm getting into is that, do I go full on, like, I can't even say Sesame Street because Sesame Street covers some deep topics sometimes. Do I go full on like Dora the Explorer, Blue's Clues? Do I go full on like, I'm so happy all the time, life is wonderful, nothing's wrong with me. We're not allowed to talk about mental health because there's a stigma behind it, and if we talk about mental health, it makes people feel uncomfortable. We can't talk about past things. Choke on my own spit because it makes people uncomfortable. We can't sing songs about pills because it makes people uncomfortable. We can't sing songs about drinking because it makes people uncomfortable. What the hell am I even supposed to write anymore? What am I supposed to sing anymore? What am I supposed to say anymore? I guess after college, during college, before college, I was absolutely so shy. I could perform on stage and it didn't bother me, but I had horrific social anxiety disorder, and I've talked about this before, but horrific social anxiety disorder, and I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that there was a name for it, and I didn't realize that something was wrong with me. I didn't realize that there was medication I could take to help with this. I tried to wait tables the first year out of high school, and it was the most terrifying experience I have ever had in my entire life. It was horrific, and I was really bad at it because I was afraid constantly. I didn't want to talk to people. I realized in that moment that something was wrong with me. For real. Because up until that point, I wasn't 18, and my mom could just call up and make appointments for me, call up and talk to people for me. She still does that sometimes to help me out with things. If I really, really need it, if I'm having a bad day, she'll help me out with that, and I'm very thankful for that. But horrific social anxiety. And when I went to college, I took a psychology class, and she defined a lot of these anxiety disorders and depression and all these different things, and I realized, I was like, that's exactly what I have. And that's when I went through some things with the music business program, and I had a boss that sexually harassed me, mentally abused me, and honestly got me down to one of my lowest points I've ever had in my life. Obviously not as low as like my dad passing away, but low, really low with how I felt about myself. And that was when I went to seek help. I went to a therapist, and I worked out some things with her that I'm so thankful that I had her. She was incredible. She still keeps in touch with me sometimes. Absolutely incredible. I went to group therapy because of that, and that was rough, but it did help me in certain ways, I guess, to kind of open my eyes to different people experiencing different negative things in their lives. Eventually I had to quit going to group therapy because it was so much just negative things flowing out, and I was starting to feel better, and I just didn't want the negativity anymore. I kind of wanted to focus on positivity. And then I went to a doctor that I would never go back to. He was so insulting to me and just so rude, and made me think I had all these problems wrong with me, and I didn't. Just assumed and jumped to conclusions, and I never went back to him, and that's why I went off the medication that I was on, because I didn't want to go back to him, and I didn't have a doctor at the time. And so from there on out, I had bouts with my anxiety. It would go away, it'd come back. I mean, it wouldn't go away completely, but it'd get better, it'd get worse. The relationships I went through were really bad. They were not healthy. Let's just put it that way. And it's just incompatibility. Just, we weren't compatible with each other. Neither one of them. And I just got to a point where I was very low again, like I was after working for Moby. Y'all know the story, though. I can say Moby. I've told this story before. But yeah, I got really low again, and I tried some different things. I tried Lexapro. I took Paxil for a couple years, and now I'm taking Zoloft again. And honestly, I have been such an advocate for removing the stigma behind mental health recently. And I know I shouldn't talk about it so much at my shows, but I guess that I like to advocate that we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have an issue of some sorts. We all have something mentally that's not right in some sorts. We're all different. I guess I wouldn't say not right. That's not healthy. Something that deters us from succeeding in things, that holds us back. It's not always hurtful to other people. A lot of times mental things are hurtful to us, can be hurtful to other people, but mostly hurt us. So I guess I've gotten so outspoken recently because I have worked so hard on being able to talk to people. I've worked so hard to being able to be outspoken and to advocate and to talk to a crowd. And I guess sometimes you gotta overdo it to learn how to hone it in. Sometimes I forget that I'm not a stand-up comedian, and I can't just make jokes about my exes and people find them funny. I guess where I go from here is I don't think I want to play at that venue anymore, and it's not really on them. I mean, not really. It's just that I'm embarrassed, and I just would rather not. Moving on from that area where I've had really bad experiences with these people that have brought me down, I think moving on from that area and starting to focus more on getting some shows in Nashville is going to help me move on from those situations and not have those feelings anymore that make me uncomfortable, that make me remember things that really hurt me in my past. And Nashville's hard too. Nashville's unforgiving in some ways and more forgiving in other ways, and I think that now that COVID is starting to hone in a little bit, we're taking care of it. I'm not going to talk about opinions with vaccines and stuff. Don't even. Don't be arguing about that in the comments, please. It ain't worth it. You do you, boo. I think that now I can start focusing on booking shows in Nashville, and obviously there are some places I know in Nashville that you do cover songs, you don't do originals, and you don't talk. And there are some places that want you to talk about your songs and play only your original songs. I think recently I've not even wanted to play my original songs because people just think they're too real or too too deep, too truthful, too hurtful. I can't write a song unless I have either experienced or watched somebody else experience something. I really love to write about things that I feel and that I feel are important to say, or I feel make a good story. But I'm in a rock. I'm not in a rock. I'm between a rock and a hard place, which is the line between being yourself and standing up for what you believe in, or completely wiping the slate clean and pretending to just be someone that you're not, just to please everybody. And now that I know that there are more venues that won't book me again, which I don't know which ones they are, I have an idea. I have to think about this for a little bit, and I've told the one venue that at least they had the audacity to speak to me about it instead of just firing me right off the bat. Most places just fire me and they don't tell me why. But at this point, I'm really low mentally. I'm having a really hard time today. I recently switched from Paxil to Zoloft, and Zoloft does not fix my anxiety as much as the Paxil does, but the Paxil was overworking. I was on such a high dose, it was doing too much to me. I wasn't feeling happiness anymore. I wasn't feeling sadness. I wasn't feeling anything. So I guess I would rather feel a little bit of anxiety and to be able to have happiness and love and excitement than I would to not feel anything at all. I thought about crying. Well, obviously that went away, and it might happen later tonight. I don't know. I don't really want my mom to know this. She's gonna know it when she sees the video, but I don't even want to talk to her about it because I know that she's just gonna agree. I've had a lot of people be really nice in the comments on my post and tell me that I should be me. And mostly the places that don't like me talking about personal stuff, they aren't places I enjoy playing at that much. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong, not all of them. But so far, some of the ones in the past didn't pay enough in the first place. I hated playing at, and I just was playing there to get paid. So I'm to the point where I wish that I could just quit here and just move on to Nashville. Again, not that Nashville's perfect. It's not. Not that people are gonna all treat me nicer up there, but I'm telling you, this past week, they went through phase 1 reopening, whatever that meant. And I got to go out to the local again for the first time in a long time. And I got to talk with my songwriter friends. I got to go out with the publicist I'm working with now. And one of the songwriters that works with her that I'd already met before. And just all hanging out. And just feeling like a family. And now I'm tearing up. And the fact that they were excited to see me, they hadn't seen me in a while, and they remembered who I was, and that they missed me, and I've done stupid stuff there. Like, I remember this time last year, like before COVID started, like probably like January, February, I'd get drunk off my ass because I was just going through it. I was so depressed. I was having such a hard time transitioning between Nashville and home, but I'd get drunk off my ass. People would buy me drinks. Friends would buy me drinks. I'd get drunk. I'd get up there on stage and say, God only knows what. And we would just laugh about it, you know? I mean, they would drink too. They're drinking, I'm drinking. And I get an Uber, obviously. Go home. But no one ever said anything to me about... Well, someone told one of my friends one time, like, oh, she shouldn't have been drunk on that live stream, that because they live stream at the local, they actually do that through the system, but no one was like, I never want you on stage with me again. You're never playing here again. The owner of the venue, the bartenders, the songwriters that do their little round on Monday nights, and just all just super nice to me and welcomed me back with open arms, and it just made me feel so much better about feeling about pursuing Nashville again, because I felt really bad about it this last year because everything closed and that nobody was making money up there, and that, you know, there was a musician, and I was just so sad last year. The only things that brought me joy were Travis and my cat. And I'm not crying to be pitiful. I'm just crying because it's happening. I'm not gonna probably full on cry. It's just the people who have welcomed me with open arms up there have been incredible. And I just sit and wonder, how long will it be before I can move on from this area and just pick the places I like to play the most and the ones that we have a mutual respect for one another. I just wonder when that will be the case, where I can just move on from the memories that aren't good and make new memories and not feel like I'm stuck in a place that I can't get out of, which is why I wrote that song Small Town Syndrome, because that's how I felt. I felt stuck in my hometown, stuck in this area. No offense to the area, it's just that I've had experiences that I want to move on from. There's things I love about my hometown and this area, and there's things I hate about it. I mean, that's with any place. There's things I love about Nashville, things I hate about Nashville. The same person that was telling me I needed to hang out with my ex or whatever, both of them, whatever, that would make me get over it or whatever. He told me, he said, fuck Nashville. Sorry. I'm sorry, but that's what he said. He said, fuck Nashville. He goes, you're making a big mistake. This is the area. This is it right here. This is it. You don't need to be going to Nashville. You've made a huge mistake. I do whatever the hell I want. It's my life. And if I never go to Nashville, I will never know. I will never get to pursue that and just see what happens. I'll never be able to say I took that chance. And no, it's not all the hype that they used to make you think it was, you know, and you watch these documentaries and you hear celebrities talk about how they made it music in Nashville and stuff, and they never highlight all of the bad stuff. Some of it they do, but some of the stuff they don't want to talk about. Some people did screw their way to the top. Some people didn't. Not everybody does that. Some people paid. Some people didn't. Some people were poor. People get screwed over. People get screwed out of money. It's a really difficult business, and you never know what you're gonna get. Honestly, I'm Forrest Gump right here. It's a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're gonna get. It's very true. It's cliche, but it's true. And you could be doing something. You think you're on the right track. You're gonna have a hit single soon, and it turns out that it's all scam. I moved to Nashville because I felt like I had enough knowledge, enough years under my belt, enough talent now versus back when I graduated high school. Just enough knowledge about everything now that I would be safer in Nashville, that I was ready to pursue it. And so, I guess, I know this has been a long video, but I wanted to cover all the topics in this. I guess I have to realize that I'm not Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm not, who else has talked about personal things? I'm not being interviewed by Oprah, which, I don't know. Ooh. Some of those interviews get a little too personal, but I'm pretty open about stuff too. But I'm not being interviewed by Howard Stern. I'm not to a level where I guess I'm allowed to talk about certain things. And I guess that I've got to realize that I need to shut my mouth. And something I don't talk about is politics. Never. Never at my shows. Never. Religion. I might bring up, hey, I'm a Christian, you know, but I'm not like, you must be a Christian or you're going to hell. No, I don't do that. I don't preach. I don't tell people what they're supposed to believe or what they're supposed to do. I just sometimes talk about things that bother me and things that inspire me. Sometimes negative things, sometimes positive things. And I don't know what to do from here on out. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. And part of me just kind of wants to move on from the places that think this about me and just start anew and shut my mouth. I'm sitting here playing with the mic cable, and I need to start writing songs again and playing them at places that care about my music, that want to hear my songs, that want to hear personal stories, that care and that don't tell on me. They don't complain. Although I know I've crossed the line a few times. I know I ain't been that bad. I'm almost to the point where I'm like, hey, videos that think this about me, kiss my ass. And then some days I cry because I hate burning bridges and I hate making people feel bad, and I hate people feeling bad about me, because part of being a musician is your reputation. And I'm sure that one day I have enough enemies that if I were to ever make it music, I'm sure that they would release some shit about me. I don't hurt people that don't hurt me. But if you hurt me, sometimes I do hurt you back. Sometimes. Depends on how bad I'm hurting. But I guess I'm just to the point where I need to stop this video. We're gonna end with what I said at the beginning. Again, I'm stumbling over my words. I'm having anxiety. I'm about to go take a blood pressure pill. Because those help so much. My back is hurting. I'm thinking I've never been this close to just wanting to explode and just give up. And music is a part of me. And I know deep down I'll never give up on it, but for the time being, I'm really close to it. If it wasn't my sole job where I make my money, I probably would take a break from it for a little bit. If I had a job where I got vacation hours, maybe vacation days, whatever, I would take a break right now and just say, screw it. I'm gonna go away somewhere for a month and not look back. Use all my vacation days. But I can't do that because I have a job to keep up. I have bills to keep up. I have things I have to do. Things I have to pay for. A house in Nashville I have to keep up. Heating and air system I'm probably gonna have to replace soon because hello, my bill's ridiculously expensive. Inefficient. I don't even know where to end this video. I'm disappointed in humanity, but also disappointed in myself. Some people have told me I don't need to take things I don't need to take things so hard, that I need to not be so hard on myself. And then I've had some people tell me that I need to shut up. I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just gonna play my video games and go back to playing my shows tomorrow. I have shows today. Not today. I have shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday I will be back in the town that I'm uncomfortable with playing in right now because of the stuff that's going down and that I've been told, and I guess I'll just do my best to shut my mouth. What else can I do? I'm gonna go. And you can put your opinions in the comments, but I'm telling you right now, I am not in the freaking mood for you to argue with me on this. Even if you think I did, that I'm wrong in this situation, that I shouldn't be thinking these things, at least try to be nice. Try to give me some encouraging words. I'm looking for encouragement at this point. I'm looking for just something to make me feel better at this point. I am going through it mentally. This isn't a cry for help. This isn't serious like that. This isn't a life-staking moment. Like, this isn't me saying I want to take my life or something. No, I've never thought about that. It's just that I'm upset, embarrassed, and I'm gonna go before I ramble on anymore. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for being fans. If you have stuck around and you've enjoyed what I do and you are there for me when I go through things like this and you don't care if I say certain things. No thank you to the people who are talking bad about me. If I genuinely offended somebody, okay, cool, but I mean, I understand, I guess, if you tell on me still. I'm not a fan of tattletales. I always hated tattletelling on people. Even if I was getting hit at school, I was afraid to go tell because I didn't want to make the situation worse. But if you are mad because I've said something about what you've done to me, if you've done something bad to me, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I said it. I'm not sorry that I hurt because of it, because you hurt me. But I'm sorry that you're so offended by that. That was mean. That was mean. That was really mean. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry that things have to happen the way they do. I'm sorry for saying sorry. Why do I keep saying sorry? Indigestion. Why do I keep saying sorry? All I ever do is say sorry. And I'm trying to learn the line between sorry and not sorry. Standing up for myself or saying sorry. I'm done. I'm gonna shut off the camera before I say anything else that offends anybody. Peace and love. Please send love to each other. This is a hard time in our world. Please send love, not hate. Please try to not hate people because of different opinions, and try not to rip their asses apart for different opinions. Please try to debate kindly and calmly, and please try to protest peacefully, and just try to be nice to each other. Don't be racist. Don't be sexist. And don't let the stigma behind mental health continue to boil and to roast and to exist. It needs to go away. Because there's so many mental illnesses out there that can be treated with medication now. When back in the day, people would just end up in a mental hospital and get electric shock therapy and be chained up or something. Nowadays, way more people can function with mental disorders. From something as simple as an anxiety disorder to stuff like schizophrenia, extreme bipolar, multiple personalities. There's so many medications out there that are non-addictive, that work great. So let's end the stigma. And be kind. Again, be kind to one another, please. And be kind in the comments. And understand that I'm both hurting and disappointed in myself, but also disappointed in other people. And just really confused right now. Happy that I don't have cancer. Happy that I don't have endometriosis. But sad that me discussing these things has ruined some of my jobs. And I bet some of it's probably just from what I say on the internet, because that's been way more deep than what I've said in my shows. But I'm gonna go. If you want to subscribe, you can. To whoever's disliking my videos every single time, rotten hell. Seriously. Okay, that was mean. Kiss my ass. Because it's just, you're literally waiting for my video to come out, and then you're disliking it immediately. I don't do that to people I hate. I try to just avoid their content. But you do you. If you want to dislike it, it's still giving me, credit. Because no matter if you dislike or like a video, it still gives you points toward the algorithm. So you're actually helping me by doing that. You're not helping my mental state, but you're helping my videos. But please put likes on this video if you like me and you don't hate me and you're not completely annoyed by me. The likes are going to help outweigh the dislikes, and they're going to encourage me to continue to post videos. And leave your comments if you want, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you want to get a notification whenever I post a video. And just, what was I gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say. Hopefully, that's what I was gonna say. Hopefully, I can post positive content soon. But until then, here we are. Go watch my snack video that I just posted if you want to watch something positive. I'm also about to post a thrift haul video soon, so you can go watch that when I post it. Those are positive things. All right, let's leave this conversation in the past. Y'all can continue it down below. I'm gonna go and I'm going to take an anxiety pill. I'm gonna eat some food if I can. I'm sick to my stomach right now. And then I'm going to probably take a nap and just completely erase these feelings I'm having right now of hating myself. Hating myself for opening my big fat mouth. Bye. I love y'all who love me. I don't hate y'all that hate me. I just don't like you, don't love you. Bye.